be a little extra guidance, and of course assistance with the clothing. We're happy to provide that assistance to them through our referral partners. As they're referred to us, we are happy to serve those clients.
For more information on the new Dress for Success look,
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Tune in and see all the unique places to stay and things to do in the Pocono Mountains. Watch PTN on WYLN.
S.J. Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialist, call S.J. Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
WYLN TV 35 is expanding and is on the hunt for a dynamic salesperson to join our vibrant team. If you've got the passion and the drive, we want to hear from you. Send your resume to the email displayed on your screen. Don't miss this great opportunity.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, Jen was in a car accident, hit from behind by a truck, had a disc extrusion in her neck. A chiropractor should never crack a neck like that. We tapped it gently. She had other helpers like massage therapy, shots, cold laser. Her neck is healed. She doesn't need neck surgery. So check in this week if you have a bad disc on what your options are.
welcome back to WYLN News. A bill calling for the repurposing of the vacant State Center in Whitehaven has passed the Pennsylvania Senate. In addition to the State Center in Whitehaven, the bill also calls for the repurposing of the vacant state centers in Hamburg and Polk. The legislation was introduced by Senator David Argyle in collaboration with two other senators due to concerns regarding the waste of taxpayer dollars on maintaining the facilities. According to the Pennsylvania Department of General Services, the carryover costs in connection with the three facilities totaled over $28 million during the 2023 to 2024 fiscal year. Under Senate Bill 1277, the Pennsylvania Department of General Services would be required to create a detailed plan for repurposing the three properties. The department would also be required to provide reports to the legislature regarding the yearly costs associated with each facility. The bill now heads to the Pennsylvania House of Representatives for consideration. The National Weather Service has issued a frost advisory for Carbon, Columbia, Luzerne, and Schuylkill counties. According to officials, temperatures may dip into the lower 30s in the early hours of Friday morning, resulting in the formation of frost. The frost is anticipated to occur mainly in valley locations. Residents are reminded that frost may cause harm to sensitive outdoor plants and vegetation if left uncovered. It is also recommended that potted plants be taken inside. Supporting Autism and Families Everywhere is inviting the public to take part in their annual Drive for Autism golf tournament. The golf tournament will take place on October 11th at the Blue Ridge Trail Golf Course in Mountain Top. Registration for the event is on a
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Watch PTN on WYLN.
Contact Pete Casalica for a home and auto quote today.
FNL Doors, your trusted overhead door supplier for over 50 years, providing quality products and services to Eastern PA and beyond with 2 strategic locations. They carry garage doors from leading manufacturers in the industry like Rainer. They guarantee parts and service for your home or business, from new construction to replacement doors, inspections, and service calls. FNL Doors stands behind every job, taking pride in the work they do. Call 800-344-DOOR or visit FNL Doors online at fldoors.com or visit their showrooms in Hazel Township or Schuylkill Haven. Like and follow WYLN News on Facebook for the WYLN News Midday Update, posted daily between noon and 2 p.m., powered by Lehigh Valley Health Network. When it's serious, there's only one health network with seriously innovative health institutes. Lehigh Valley Health Network, your health deserves a partner.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Hey! Did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network. A Path Through History is sponsored by the Old Jail Museum, 128 West Broad Street in Jim Thorpe. Call 570-325-5259 or visit them online at theoldjailmuseum.com.
As the 20th century began, baseball continued its rise to becoming the national pastime, and 2 of the game's most successful managers could trace their roots back to Pittston. The first, Huey Jennings, had been born in town in 1869 and worked as a breaker boy in his youth. He first came to the attention of national scouts when playing on a semi-pro team in Lehighton, and was signed by the American Association's Louisville Colonels. He would make his biggest impact on the field with the original minor league Baltimore Orioles from 1893 to 1899, where he was one of the best shortstops in the game. In arguably his best season in 1896, he hit .401 with 121 RBIs, despite being hit by pitches a record 51 times. Jennings' playing career ended in 1903, but 4 years later he would be named manager of the Detroit Tigers. His first 3 teams, led by future Hall of Famers Ty Cobb and Sam Crawford, all reached the World Series, although he came up short in all of them. Jennings managed the Tigers through 1920, winning 1,131 games with his distinctive call of "Yee-yah" while managing the team, becoming his trademark. After relinquishing his job, he would serve as an assistant under his former Orioles teammate John McGraw with the Giants until suffering a nervous breakdown after the 1925 season. He would be committed to a sanitarium in North Carolina, but eventually returned to northeastern Pennsylvania, where he died in 1928. Huey Jennings rests today in Moscow's St. Catherine Cemetery. He was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1945. At the time Jennings' managerial career was winding down, Stanley Harris, better known as Bucky, was just beginning his. Harris was born in Port Jervis, New York in 1896, but grew up in Pittston. It would in fact be Huey Jennings who would sign Harris to his first baseball contract in 1916 for the Central League's Muskegon Reds. He gradually moved up through the minor leagues over the next 3 years before he was called up by the Washington Senators in August 1919. He would spend the next 9 years as the Senators' second baseman, and in 1924 was appointed a player-manager for the team. He would immediately make team management feel good about the promotion, leading the Senators to the 1924 World Series title, while batting .333 and hitting 2 home runs in the series. Now called the Boy Wonder for his efforts, Harris managed the Senators back to the World Series the following season, although the team would be defeated by the Pittsburgh Pirates this time. Harris's playing career essentially ended after he was traded to the Tigers in 1929. He would win a second World Series with the Yankees in 1947 and would win 2,158 games in 29 total seasons with the Tigers, Red Sox, Phillies, Yankees, and Senators, which puts him among the top 10 among Major League managers. Bucky Harris died in 1977 and rests today in Hughstown St. Peter's Lutheran Cemetery. He would join Huey Jennings in the Hall of Fame in 1975. In Pittston itself, several movie theaters would open their doors for patrons over the years. Perhaps the grandest was the American Theater, which was the largest theater in the Comerford chain when it opened on June 9, 1924. It had a total capacity of 2,500 seats, with 1,200 on the first floor, 1,100 in the balcony, and 200 box seats. The stage was 35 feet deep, and for the vaudeville shows that also called the building home at times, there were 10 dressing rooms underneath. Besides vaudeville and the movies, the theater also hosted big band shows during its lifetime. The American Theater closed in the late 1960s and stood vacant afterwards for some years until it was torn down in the 1980s. A Rite Aid now stands on the theater's former site. In America, it is a dream that anyone can become anything they want with hard work and a little luck. For one Pittston native, that will include being crowned king of a tropical island. Faustin Workus was born in the city in 1896, the son of Polish immigrants. The family eventually moved to DuPont, where young Faustin worked as a slate picker in the breakers. A depressing job that made him dream of something more. As he would write years later, "In the little time I had been in school, it had become foggily known to me that somewhere out beyond the dust, the rattling collieries and the grimy shacks, was a world full of thrill and the glory of being alive." Thus, at age 18, Workus signed up for the Marines, lying about his age to guarantee that he would get in. In 1915, he would be deployed to Haiti, where American forces occupied the country following the collapse of the previous Haitian government. He would come to enjoy the Caribbean nation very much, and unlike too many Americans of the time, Workus respected and got along well with non-white Haitians. He would be stationed on and off in Haiti over the ensuing years during the continued American occupation, which ultimately lasted until 1934. By 1925, Workus requested and received the post of district commander on the island of La Gonâve, about 50 miles west of Port-au-Prince. He took his new position in April 1925 and quickly made a positive impression for himself among the island's inhabitants by firing numerous corrupt tax collectors and building the island's first airfield. He also became good friends with La Gonâve's queen Timamen. A commonly told story held that Workus rescued the queen from being arrested for failure to pay taxes, although no firm evidence of this tale exists at present. As it was, an emperor named Faustin ruled the island back in the mid-1800s, and had promised, before he had disappeared, that another would come with his name to take the throne. And so it was, on July 18, 1926, that Workus arrived for what he assumed would be a simple civic festival. Instead, to his surprise, he was carried by the island's joyful citizens to the nearest voodoo temple, smeared with rooster blood, and proclaimed King Faustin II. He nonetheless accepted the throne, and ruled in conjunction with Queen Timamen for the next 3 years, with his own flag bearers and honor guard. Workus tried to rule as fairly as he could, and thus remained popular among La Gonâve's citizens, although predictably Haitian President Louis Borno was not happy at a king ruling in his republic under his nose, grumbling, "Haiti is a republique, I am its president. It is unthinkable there should be a kingdom within a republique, or a king." Faustin Workus's reign over La Gonâve ended in 1929 when the Marines transferred him back stateside. He mustered out of the Marines in 1931 as a gunnery sergeant, but re-enlisted in 1939. He would serve as a recruiter in New York, and then at a pre-flight school in North Carolina before his death in 1945. Faustin Workus rests today in Arlington National Cemetery. For much of the 20th century, animation would make a strong mark in American culture, with popular cartoon characters becoming part of the country's identity. And two brothers from Pittston each contributed to animation history in their own way. The older brother, Dan Gordon, was born in Pittston in 1902. Originally working professionally as a draftsman, he got a start in animation at New York City's Van Buren Studios, home to the Toonerville Trolley series. After a brief subsequent stint with Paul Terry's Terrytoon Studios, he was hired by Max Fleischer in 1937. He was quickly pressed into service as a story editor for the Fleischers' feature film Gulliver's Travels, which parent studio Paramount had pressed Fleischer to make after the runaway success of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Despite Gordon's best efforts, though, the finished picture would be an uneven film that made nowhere near Snow White's gross and was heavily panned by Walt Disney, who scoffed after seeing the film, "We can do better than that with our second-string animators." Gordon continued in the story department for Fleischer's second feature, Mr. Bug Goes to Town, although the outbreak of World War II reduced that film's gross as well. He would have more commercial success with the Fleischer Superman cartoons, whose large budgets allowed for much creativity for the animators, and were where Superman, who previously only took giant leaps in the comics, flew for the first time, as Max Fleischer had told DC Comics executives that giant leaps would look silly in animation. Gordon would also have success directing Popeye cartoons, with his entries in the Sailor series earning praise for their high energy and fourth wall breaking. Gordon left Fleischer's studio in 1943 and entered the world of comic books, where he produced the Super Cat and Cookie O'Toole series. He returned to animation in 1957, where he joined his former partner Terry Toon's Joe Barbera at the Hanna-Barbera studios. Gordon would get perhaps his greatest assignment when he was tasked with the initial storyboards for the company's new primetime show about a certain modern Stone Age family that was a page right out of history. Indeed, Bill Hanna would later say, "To me, Dan Gordon is responsible for the Flintstones. He came up with the basic concept of doing it with cavemen." Dan Gordon continued working for the Hanna-Barbera studios until his death in 1970. In the meantime, Dan's younger brother George Gordon, born in 1906, had blazed his own trail in animation history. He began work in 1930 at Terry Toons, where he had worked on the moderately popular Farmer Alfalfa series. He joined MGM's animation division in 1937, and 3 years later would have the honor of working on the very first Tom and Jerry cartoon, Puss Gets the Boot. Gordon continued with the Tom and Jerry series through 1943. He then worked for some time at John Sutherland Productions before moving to UPA and contributing story elements to Mr. Magoo cartoons. Later in the 60s, he was hired at Patty Freeling Productions, where he directed several entries for The Ant and the Aardvark. Like his brother, George Gordon would end his career at Hanna-Barbera, where his credits included directorial work for the Super Friends, several Scooby-Doo series, The Quickie Koala Show, which would be notable as including Tex Avery's final contributions to animation before his death, and The Smurfs. George Gordon died in 1986.
Hey, it's Justin from Grand Central, and our trained sleep professionals are here to help you sleep like never before. With an extensive line of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we are sure to find you the right mattress at the right price. Free delivery and removal, interest-free financing for up to 60 months, and same or next day delivery on select models.
And don't forget, everyday low prices. Stop in to one of our 2 locations, Route 93 in Escapec,
or downtown Hazleton,
and see why Northeast and Central Pennsylvania sleeps better with Grand Central.
Penn State Hazleton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
Wyln programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. It's high school football time on Wyln TV 35. Check out the game of the week and join Marty Burns, Joe DeMelfi, and the entire Wyln sports team as they bring live high school football to you. Watch over the air in Hazleton at 35.1, Berwick at 47.1, or Williamsport at 9.1, or Service Electric Cable, Channel 7 or 507, or online. The game of the week is brought to you by the Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute, the region's leader in sports medicine.